areas, and I know in Atlanta down south, they don't trust the police officers to protect them. Police officers, they feel like they just try to find anything to lock them up, and they never hear them out. They feel like that the police officers will unalive them, so they're scared.
The importance for police and the public to communicate with each other cannot be stressed enough, because without engagement, people feel powerless. So I asked those with knowledge on policing what can be done to improve engagement and communication with the public.
My name is Barbara Harris Combs, and I serve as the chair of the Department of Sociology and Criminal Justice here at Kennesaw State University. My first career, however, was in law. I practiced law for about 8 years in Ohio. My particular area of research is about matters of race, place, and belonging. But certainly, both as chair of this department and in my scholarship, policing is something that I've looked at. It's important to first state that the roots of the modern day policing system are in slave patrols. And so my research, again, is about matters of race, place, and belonging. The slave patrols originated as a way to make sure that enslaved persons were where they belonged. And they enlisted the common day people, just any white person could be solicited for those purposes. And so that kind of idea of surveillance, of maintenance, of who belongs where, with whom, at what time, for what legitimate purpose continues. We saw out of the 21st Century Policing Task Force, we saw particularly in looking at an area like Ferguson, where there was this over-policing presence, certainly based upon at the intersection of race and lower socioeconomic class.
As an officer, I've been doing this for almost 18 years and working with all different types of people within the community. And as far as what I believe that the people think about the county I work in, we engage with the different citizens as far as with the elderly homes. We go to the schools, we do job fairs, we go out and do different games. We have basketball games, we do soccer. And I think that because, once again, like I mentioned earlier, that we have the Citizen Academy, that we allow citizens to join and get to see our everyday activities or our everyday detail of what we do within this job, I think people love us.
There's a misconception out there that the majority of police officers or law enforcement officers don't serve the community as they should, and what we consider bad apples, like in any other profession. However, what most people don't know that there's a lot that go into law enforcement, as far as on the parole side, as far as investigators, as far as the probation side, as far as the deputy sheriffs. So everyone work together as best as possible to try to be there for the citizens of every state that they operate out of.
For one group of a higher socioeconomic class, the police are definitely perceived as being there to protect not only them, but their materials. And for lower socioeconomic classes, then the police are there for purposes of social control, making sure that order is kept and that people stay in their places.
And when we go to middle class, it's a little bit different. You don't see as much policing out on the streets as you would in the low class area. If anything, they use us more for security, like for securing like the golf courses or different clubs and things like that.
That's why it's very important that law enforcement in general do more policing out there in their communities. Well, you have people in the city that is pretty crowded, so you're going to have more policing out there as far as patrolling. Where you got your more suburban areas where it's not so crowded with small communities. So you should always make sure you have enough officers for any community, whether it's a low-value community or a high-value community.
The culture of policing is such that it is a brotherhood, a fraternal order, a camaraderie exists. And I think that that is important. You need to know that people have your back. But part of that culture of, a blue community, part of that culture suggest an us against them mentality when police, like everyone else, are part of the larger group. And so I would not point to the community exclusively for that. It is actually, there's a reciprocity that's needed.